Bhagavad Gita 6.36 Yatehi Shraddhayopeto Yogachalitamansah Aprapya Yoga Samsiddhim Kamgatim Krishna Gacchati 6.37 actually. So in three texts Arjuna will ask a question to Krishna. Ayatihi Shraddhayopeto Shraddhaya Upeta. With faith, one who is engaged in the path of yoga. Ayatihi. One is unable to continue. Yoga Chalitamanasaha Yogach. On the path of yoga, Chalita. One gets deviated. Manasaha. The mind gets deviated, and following the mind, the person also gets, the seeker gets devoted, the potential yogi gets deviated. Aprapya Yoga Samsiddhim. Not attaining yogic perfection. Kamgatim Krishna Gacchati. What is the destination of such a person? Oh Krishna, please tell me. The connection with the previous sections can be understood through the word manasaha. The point of Ashtanga Yoga is to bring the mind to a point of equanimity towards everything. And Arjuna said that is very difficult because the mind rages like a wind. And Krishna has replied that yes, it is difficult, but it's possible by practice, and it's essential, and it's doable. That was all the answer in 35 and 36. Now here Arjuna asks another question based on the mind. The mind is chanchalatvat, yoga chalitamanasaha. So because the mind is restless, if the mind goes away from Krishna, chalita, and the yogi too will not be able to stay on that path for long. Because essentially, where our mind is, that's where we are. And where our mind goes, that's where we go. So chalitamanasaha, when the mind goes away, the yogi will also go in that direction sooner or later. And then aprapya yoga samsiddhim. So yogi will not attain perfection. And then kamgatim Krishna gacchati. Kamgatim. What will be the destination of such a yogi? In general, the impulsive person, the short-sighted or the foolish person just lives only for the moment. That means if the present is enjoyable, then that's all that matters. And don't worry about the future. That's what people think about. But in fact, the sign of wisdom, sign of intelligence is the capacity to prepare for the future. When we face difficulties, when we face challenges, then to the extent that we are prepared for the future, to that extent we will be able to deal with it. Even in the plant kingdom, even in the plant or even the animal kingdom, the plants that grow their roots as deep and as far as possible, they are the plants. They are the plants that survive the longest amidst adverse conditions. Because even if the water level under the ground goes down, still their roots have already deep rooted and they can find water wherever it is available. Similarly, say we consider a desert, the animals like camels have their hump, which is specially devised to enable them to provide food, to store food, store water, and so even when they have to go for long distances without water, they are able to live. Now these animals may not consciously think of uh, developing a hump or having deep roots. But the point is that the same Supreme Lord who maintains everyone creates within these living beings biological mechanisms by which their long-term survival becomes possible even when there is no short-term need for it. So the in general the capacity to see long term is important of for long for dealing with crises that will come in the long run, and such a capacity for long term perception is especially essential for pursuing spiritual life. And Arjuna expresses a natural concern here that if we take up spiritual life, that means we will have to, at least to some extent, give up material life. So now Arjuna was never living a sensuous, wanton, adharmic material life. He was living a dharmic material life. That means if you look at the Mahabharata, of which the Bhagavad Gita is a part, the Kshatriyas generally live, as depicted in the Mahabharata, a life of dharma, artha, kama. That they do dharma, they do sacrifices, they offer respect to the brahmanas, and they protect overall brahminical culture. And by all this, by living a life of dharma, they expect to ascend to heaven. They expect to, by living a life of dharma, they expect artha and kama in this world. They have great wealth and they have beautiful queens, and they expect to go to heaven where they can have similar things. So now, karma kanda requires a substantial amount of wealth and resources and commitment. So dharma, artha, kama is in that sense not easy to ensure. So those who ensure dharma, artha, kama, or those who practice dharma, artha, kama, they cannot renounce the world the way Ashtanga Yoga requires, as Arjuna Krishna has depicted, Shuchau Deshe Patisthapya Sthiramasalmatmana Natyushritam Natinichan Chailajini Kushottaram Tatraikagram Manah Kritva Yada Chittendriya Kriya Upavishyasane Yunjad Yogamatma Vishuddhaye. So just leave everything, go to a secluded place. Sthiramasalmatmana, and sit on a asana in a place that is neither too high nor too low, and practice meditation. So all that Krishna is describing here, this is not practical when a person doing karma kanda. So more or less the person renounces the world. So then if one is not doing karma kanda duties, one cannot expect to go to heaven. So the person will not attain heaven. And now if that person is not going to attain heaven, then what is the prospect? Is that person going to go to hell? No, it depends on what kind of karma one does, what other activity one is going to do. So Arjuna is asking that if he would do his karma kandi duties, if you do your karma kandi duties, we will go to Swarga. If one does one's yoga sadhana very seriously, then one will attain moksha. That's the central understanding. But if if say a candidate gives up karma kanda and thereby gives up the prospect of attaining heaven, and then practices yoga, but does not persevere in the path of yoga because of the restless mind, then that person will not get moksha also. So what will be the destination of such a person? That neither Swarga nor moksha. So what will be the kam gatim? Krishna gachati. Oh Krishna, what will be the destination of such a person? And the whole idea underlying the anxiety of Arjuna that is expressed through this is that Arjuna is a far-sighted person who is considering the consequence, the various possibilities that might emerge when he makes a particular choice, and accordingly, he wants to make a uh, intelligent choice, even if it involves some risk. He wants it to be a intelligent, calculated risk, and therefore he asks this question, and Krishna will answer it from 41 to 45. Arjuna will verbalize this question further in two more verses, and then Krishna will begin his answer. Thank you.